Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast. And today I've chosen something a bit more topical. I think the deep, therapeutic, philosophical ones might at times be a bit overwhelming. So I thought about general well-being and what sort of factors that actually, regardless of who you are, where you're at, are going to make, pardon me, the biggest difference to our life. So what's the most important thing? Is it sleep? Is it diet? Is it mental health? What is it? So I've done a bit of Googling, as you'd say. And indeed, there's three core components that will give us the best chance to be the best we can be. One is, surprisingly, if I have a drum roll, if I'd be more sophisticated as a podcaster, I have a little machine and I have a little da-da-da-da-da, is actually activity. So activity in the sense of moving around, doing things, not being sedentary and sit on our butts and do things, but to be, mobile. And this can involve anything from walking to the shops, taking the escalator instead of the lift, going for a walk, all the way up to obviously the hardcore, you know. And I'm not smiling because I think it's not valid. Of course it is. Runners and the gym people who really work out hard. Great for mental health as well. There's no doubt. It's one of the most effective ways to improve our mental health in that regard. But so activity is number one. What's number two and three, you ask? Well, they're closely related to enable us to do activity number one, which is diet, nutrition, and sleep. A diet really has been a sort of Trojan horse that a lot of people have taken, have hijacked to some extent. And they tell you that this diet, that diet, do this, do this, do this. It's all just an economic, ruse really for people to make money out of you. The reality is that, and this has been around for centuries, really generations, is that a well-balanced, seasonal diet is what suits us best. If we adhere to that, there is really little, if no need, to supplements or vitamins, and to support that side of the industry. Of course, they come into play if we don't undertake some of the tasks that, like physical activity or a balanced diet, then we need those nutritional things. There can be a physiological imbalance that some people have, and then of course it's warranted. But for average Joe Blow, there's no need to waste money, not waste, spend money on these items. Now, what do I mean by seasonal? Well, obviously self-explanatory. Things that are in season. In summer, more salads, tomato, cucumbers, lean meats. In winter, it's really more spinach, cabbage, whatever grows really per season should to some extent determine what we have for dinner. They're all packed with nutrients. If you can grow them yourself, double whammy benefit because you get to enjoy the therapeutic aspects of actually growing things and being involved in from A to Z and get to eat it. It tastes fantastic. I'm quite a keen, although not highly successful gardener, but I do enjoy the fact of actually taking care of and investing in something that needs to be taken care of and watered, and make sure the pests don't get to it and so forth. So I think that's fantastic. If you can't, it doesn't really matter. But be aware of seasonal vegetables. You see it by price, but also snap frozen veggies are just as good. The only sort of discrimination I make is where they're from. That's really my thing. That I choose to buy locally produced goods to support locals and keep the money within our own sort of circle of local and national influence. So I do that. And the last one is sleep. So sleep really is what recharges our batteries, what gives us a chance to recover and with renewed vigor approach the next day. Now, sleeping is an issue for a lot of people. I think there's some kind of lifestyle changes that we have accepted in regard to the somewhat hectic nature with social media and the ability to choose everything that we want to see or check out at any time that's possible. That sort of has heightened that cognitive whizzing that goes on. So I think it's fair enough to say that there'll be more people now that have sleeping issues than ever before. It's a guess. We don't work physically anymore. The majority of those jobs are gone. They're still around, but they certainly have reduced significantly. And we also become lazier in regard to the diet. So that's another factor that comes in. So poor diet also has an influence on the quality of sleep. So I listened to this guy who's an expert on sleeping, and some of the things that he said sort of makes sense. He reckons that before you go to bed, make sure that you turn most of the lights off that you don't need. Light is obviously a trigger, not the main trigger, but a trigger in regard to telling our bodies that, okay, now is the sort of time to release melatonin and to sort of calm down and get ready for sleep, sort of like a prepping signal. So it certainly hurts. But the majority, or the biggest factor actually in sleep is temperature, this guy reckons. So people sleep better in a cooler environment and a warmer environment, because our brain is cooled down. He reckons between 2 and 3 degrees Fahrenheit to sort of recharge and deal with our memories and allocate them to permanent, short-term or recycle bin sort of aspect. So, and he also said that one of the things that our grandmas, or some of our grandmas and mums, have said, like, if you have trouble sleeping, have a hot bath, because it's cozy, and that will help. The opposite actually happens, because from a vascular perspective, all the blood vessels dilate closer to the surface and punch out all this heat that we have, and so discharge to some extent that heat, and that's actually why we sleep better and have more REM sleep. He reckons avoid TV and screen time, maybe an hour or so before you go to bed. Routine is a big thing too. Try and go to sleep usually at the same time every night, and get up at the same time, regardless of the time or the day, I should say. If it's a weekend, stick to that. Our bodies are geared for routine, as are our minds, really, and we give ourselves the best chance of managing our lives with as much power and bravado as we can physiologically muster. So there you go. Activity, sleep and nutrition are the holy grail to work on, and no doubt all of us can improve on that and add or reduce depending where we're at. So yeah, food for thought. But the good thing, what I like is we can have a practical influence and actually take charge of those things. We don't need to go and see anyone or get a prescription or go and see a psychologist or whatever. It's actually sort of good common sense that all of us can look further into and gather more knowledge and address those things that are really foundational sort of health issues. So yeah, I thought I'd just share that with you, and I hope you enjoy it. As always, if you can, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what you think. From a hot Loxton, I bid you farewell, and see you around soon. So bye.